All right. Hello, everyone. How many of you love the character SpongeBob? Raise your hand. So now, how many of you thinks that he is weak? Raise your hand. Well, today I'll be explaining how strong SpongeBob actually is. So, in case you didn't know, SpongeBob is a cartoon character who lives in a pineapple under the sea. He's only a few centimeters tall. He's about the size of a kitchen sponge, and he works at the Krusty Krab for minimum wage or even lower. So, if you think that he is weak, you are absolutely correct. So, how weak he is? So, he can't even pick up two teddy bears and a pole. He stretched his fingers to the point where he accidentally broke his hands and couldn't even lift up two marshmallows and a twig. Not to mention the fact where he may have rotated the whole entire Earth by just twisting his wrench on a pipe. So now you know how weak SpongeBob is. I actually would like to get to the point of how strong SpongeBob is. As you can see, he is a very buff man sometimes, and some powers that he has are that he can stretch his legs. He can stretch it so much that he can be about 2 stories tall. Another power that he has is that he can shapeshift. He can turn into a trophy. He can change into other characters, such as his pet Gary. Another power that he has is duplication. As you can see, he got cut into nine pieces, and he still came back, duplicating himself, making a clone, army of clones. He also have the power of absorbing water. So it might not make sense because he's a sponge and he's underwater, so he should be full all the time. Well, he has the ability to even absorb more water when he's even full. He absorbs so much water that he became the moon. He also has very good regeneration. There are some times where he would get ripped in half and still be alive talking. He would be vaporized and still be alive and talking. He would have his soul sucked out of his body and be erased from the universe. So he also has teleportation. So he can use this by using bubbles and get around to anywhere, even though he still wants to use a car. Speaking of bubbles, he can use bubbles to make anything he wants. He can make pie, he can create weapons, and also create an entire civilizations. So he can never be lonely, as he can just make bubble friends. Next is his magical pencil. In case you didn't know, the pencil came from the surface all the way down, and he randomly picked it up and started drawing things, and they came to life. So if you think about it, he can draw as many things as you want and use them as an army. Not only that, he can use the eraser. If he uses the eraser on you, he can quite literally erase you from existence. And finally, he has his trusty reef blower. He used this to suck up the entire ocean and fit it into that tiny little box. So now I would like to talk about some of his accomplishments and what he has done. So first off, since he's a sponge, he's very soft, and soft things don't break easily. He has insane durability. So remember how I talked about the reef blower and then the ocean exploded on him as seen in the video? Well, let's do some physics here. When you get the mass of the ocean, that is about 1.5 quintillion tons. In case you don't know how big that is, I put the number right there, and you can see that that's a lot of zeros. It took 1 second for the ocean to smash him, and doing a little bit of math, the kinetic energy was about 6,000 yotatons of TNT, or that many zeros. So you might think that like that's a lot. You might not understand what a yotaton is capable of doing. Based on this, he would be able to survive a blast that would destroy Jupiter 3 times over. Another thing about his durability is that he can survive a nuke point blank. So as seen in this diagram, the nuke was so big, it went into outer space, and it's about almost the size of the Earth or the diameter of the Earth. So I researched online, and someone was friendly enough to do some math for us, so I didn't have to. And he was able to calculate it, 1 yada ton of TNT. So remember how that water was about 6,000 yadatons? This is only one, and that's already able to destroy the planet. Next, he's really fast. He is faster than Patrick. So you might think that Patrick is slow, he's kind of fat, and you might think that, but you're absolutely wrong, considering this guy has run from his home to the sun and back in 15 seconds. Considering that the speed of light from the sun to the earth would take about 8 minutes, he ran 64 times faster than light. So, and SpongeBob outran this guy, and you can't even imagine how fast this Quickster form is. He can run so fast, you don't be moved. And finally, the biggest feat of all is when he unraveled the universe using a string. One day, he found a string on the earth, he just pulled it and destroyed the whole entire universe while standing in it. He's still there, even though everything is gone. So now let's do a little bit more math I found. So someone did some calculations and they found that the width based on the size of SpongeBob was about 192 micrometers or micrometers. They did some math to find the volume of 1 meter of that string, which is that number, and then they found the volume of the universe. So considering that he did this in about 5 seconds, he would be moving at the speed of 8.2 times 10 to the 78 times faster than light, or that gigantic number. You might not know how big that number is, but that's as many times faster than light as atoms in the universe. So this is a crazy amount of speed. So you might think like, oh, he's just a little sponge. He can beat a lot of people. Well, here's a list of some people that he can beat. He can beat Optimus Prime, your favorite Superman. He can beat all these characters in just a few seconds. So I hope you now know how strong SpongeBob is. And thank you for watching this. Thank you.